Hey guys, welcome to 10 in 10, the conversation starter show where we list our top 10 in 10 minutes. Today we have a very special episode where we're going to be listing our top 10 war movies of all time in honor of ANZAC Day, which is coming up next week. So let's get into it. Alright mate, I'm going to start us off here, the top 10 war movies of all time.
What do you got?
This is our personal list as well.
This is our personal
not the
favorites.
greatest war movies, this is our favourite war movies of all time. So I'm going to start us off, number 10 here with Unbroken. Okay,
Yeah, cool.
Angelina Jolie directed the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great movie. I've only seen it once and it was actually fairly recently, but it's a cracker of a film. Now, we're going to be talking about war movies. They have to be set in war and about war stuff. So this one's kind of more about prisoner of war than warfare necessarily, but I'll keep it in there. So Unbroken, number 10 for me.
Awesome, man. I've got my number 10, Lone Survivor. So it's like a Mark Wahlberg film.
Yeah.
Bunch of SEALs behind enemy lines. A whole bunch of them die kind of thing.
I actually haven't seen it. I know the movie.
Based on a true story, as no doubt a lot of these will be.
Yeah.
That's what makes kind of war stories amazing. So yeah, Lone Survivor, really good film. Mark Wahlberg doing a really, really good job. So that's my number 10.
Nice. All right, number 9 for me. It's one that I've only just seen recently as well for this video because I've heard it's great.
Yeah.
And it was great. It's Hacksaw Ridge. Okay,
Yeah, sure.
Really good movie. It's a very heartfelt story about a Christian man who doesn't want to fight. If you haven't seen it. And he basically goes over to war as a medic with no weapons, doesn't want to pick up a gun, and he just goes there to save people that are obviously dying in the trenches and things like that. So it's very horrific. It starts off as quite a low-key kind of family-friendly movie, and then as soon as they get to war, it's like brutal warfare.
As you expect from Mel Gibson.
Yeah. So Mel Gibson film. So Hacksaw Ridge, number 9 for me.
Also, my number 9 is one of my wife's favourite movies. She kind of gets on one of those. If it's based on a true story, she loves them. But I've got American Sniper.
Yeah.
So Bradley Cooper film. I think Sienna Miller's in it as well. Clint Eastwood directed it.
There you go for Courts, that one. That's a Courts special.
It's a good movie.
It is good.
And it's one of those like almost heartbreaking endings. Spoilers for anyone that hasn't seen it.
I haven't seen the ending. Owen's wife got me to watch the first half, and we didn't get to finish it. So.
Well, if you know, you know. But
fair enough.
It's a good film. But yeah, it's my number 9. Shout out Courtney.
Nice. All right, number 8 for me. Now this is one I rewatched again recently, and it just has some epic battle scenes. Is Fury. Brad Pitt, Shia LaBeouf. Excellent movie. It's got some of the best tank warfare scenes I've ever seen. Probably the best tank warfare scenes I've ever seen. Yeah. It just shows you the horrors of war, and the whole thing is just basically set over a couple of days, I think it is. And it just shows you the effects of what warfare does to men and women, obviously, go to war. And it's really heartbreaking, especially the scene, you'll know if you've seen it, where they have dinner with the 2 German girls. And they kind of have this really beautiful moment, and then obviously the other boys come in and ruin the dinner. And it just shows you, again, how badly affected men and women can get from warfare. So it's a great movie.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
My number 8, I've got Unbroken as well.
Unbroken.
So, I just said Jolie, but it's like a really awesome story. It tells like the start of the dude's life so well.
Yeah.
Then that kind of horrific, I think it was like 40 days or something in the ocean.
That's intense.
Kind of
stuff,
there, and then only to get picked up by like the Japanese and then chucked into a POW camp and surviving that whole horrors. And like it's just the fact that that's one of those the fact that it's a real story makes it ridiculous. Because if you watch that film, you're like, there's no way this could happen, and there's no way someone could survive all that. Yeah. But to know that that happened makes it like it elevates it and makes it incredible for me. So
it's great.
Yeah, Unbroken, number 8.
All right, number 7 for me. I'm gonna go with one of the greatest war movies I've ever seen. Obviously, is 1917. Okay, it's a World War I film. It's filmed as if, particularly as a film teacher, I love it because it's filmed as if it's one shot the whole way through. Obviously, they do piece it together and stitch it together with different effects, different tricks, but. Really great cinematography, some great acting in there, and some excellent scenes. I've only seen it once. I actually want to watch it again. You haven't seen it, have you?
I haven't seen it, man. That's the one.
1917 is a really good film. Definitely worth a watch. So that's number 6 for me.
Number 7.
Sorry, number 7 for me. Yeah.
My number 7, I've got The Hurt Locker. Yeah. So Jeremy Renner, if you haven't seen it, is like a bomb defusal kind of guy. Won the Academy Award. I think it was the first woman
female
director to win. So which I think is awesome. And he's kind of like just this badass kind of more maverick rogue type bomb diffuserless guy, and it's a really cool story.
Yeah, it's definitely an honorable mention. That's a great movie. It's not on my top 10 list, but it's a great film. All right, number 6 is it for me?
Yeah,
now? I'm
number
getting
6,
mixed
man.
up with numbers here. Number 6 now is from my favourite director, Christopher Nolan, is Dunkirk.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great film about the British trying to escape off, obviously, Dunkirk, getting away from the Germans.
Yeah.
So it's just a super intense scene. I've only been able to see this movie once as well. It's one of those other ones I've wanted to revisit. The issue is my wife doesn't like war movies, so I have to kind of find my own time to watch
I
it.
agree. Mine doesn't. When it's like a war movie, if it's something like American Sniper
Yeah,
or
it's
Unbroken and based on true stories, she loves them.
Yeah.
Eats them up all day.
Yeah.
An actual war movie, so that's
but
when
I
it's
mean,
tough.
Dunkirk's just great. It kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat the whole way through. It's just an intense film, and I mean, you can't help but get goosebumps when you see like the British civilians taking their boats across the English Channel and picking up the soldiers. It's just such a heartfelt moment. So to me, Dunkirk's a great film. Definitely check it out if you haven't seen it yet.
Awesome, man. My number 6, I've got Full Metal Jacket.
Okay.
Stanley Kubrick's one of my favourite directors. I love him. I love most of the movies he's made.
Yeah.
So it's kind of set in like 2 halves. First half, they're in like the training and everything like that, getting ready for it.
Yeah.
Which culminates in one of the most kind of epic scenes
It's great.
in cinema history. And if you've seen it, you know the scene where the dude kind of has enough and then
loses it.
loses it and shoots him. And then the second half is set in war, and I just love it, man. I love Stanley Kubrick, so it's kind of like a bit out there and a bit quirkier, but
I'm going to go against the grain here, especially as a film teacher, but I think it's a bit overrated, that movie. I've seen it, and I like the first half a lot more than the second half, put it that way. I think the
first half's more memorable, definitely.
Yeah, much more memorable. I think the second half's very, very... I just don't like it.
I get it. It can be slightly kind of corny, like in regards to a war movie, the second half.
I don't know. I just didn't... As in, like, it's not bad. I just think it's... I just don't like it that much. So
that's fair. That's why we have these lists.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I mean, that's with any art form. It's all subjective.
Exactly.
All right, number 5 for me. Now, this is a movie that's very close to my heart, especially since being a kid. I remember watching it with my mum for the first time when I was very young.
Yeah.
But it's The Last of the Mohicans. Okay, so this one's pretty loosely a war movie. I'm probably being a bit loose because it is set in war, in the French-Indian War.
Yeah.
And it's obviously not all about warfare, but there are battles in it. It's all set around wartime. So I guess we're going to count it in the war list for me. But Last of the Mohicans, Daniel Day-Lewis, what an actor.
Yeah,
what a great film. It's beautiful cinematography, beautiful soundtrack in the movie. So Last of the Mohicans is great. Great
Awesome,
film.
man. My number 5, I've got one that definitely is a war movie.
Yeah.
I've got Black Hawk Down.
Nice.
So
that's a good film.
Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
If you want action, chuck Ridley Scott on.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
the dude just does
That's
it.
right.
But like a banging cast. It's got Josh Arnett, Eric Bana, Ewan McGregor, Tom Hardy, Orlando Bloom. Like,
wow, yeah.
It's just
been a while since I've seen it, but that's right. Yeah, that's
so I know I was the same when I went through the list. I'm like, holy moly, how many actors are in this?
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah,
just
it's great.
stacked, and
It's kind of like the who's who of actors coming up at that time, wasn't it? Yeah.
it was. So it's just Ridley Scott kind of at his action best.
Yeah.
So it's just a really good film.
Nice.
Really good watch. So that's my number 5.
Number 4 for me. Now I'm going to go with this sort of that same sort of time period as Last of the Mohicans. Similar sort of time period is The Patriot. Okay, Mel Gibson.
Let's go.
Now, again, it's probably this is just subjective. This is my favorite movies, and again, because I watched it as a kid, I love it so much. So maybe if I watched it as an adult for the first time, I wouldn't like it as much. I don't know. It gets a bit of heat sometimes, but I just love the movie. I love that time period with the muskets and that kind of thing. Like that's sort of wartime. It's just a great film. It has some really memorable scenes in there. Some good acting. It's got old Heath Ledger in there. Boy.
Oh mate, he can't go wrong.
Yeah, so it's a really good film. So The Patriot, number 4 for me.
Awesome. Then my number 4, I've got Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, mate, that's high.
It is high.
It is high. Yep.
But my 3 above it, you've kind of seen.
Actually, fair enough.
But Spielberg, Tom Hanks, Matt Damon, it was probably surely one of Matt Damon's earlier films, maybe not his first one, but up there because he's this young kind of babyface dude.
He's
but
very young in it.
It's just an amazing kind of quintessential war movie.
Yeah,
it's just one of the, if not the perfect war movie.
Yeah, that's very true. All right,
Saving Private Ryan.
Before we get to the business end, top 3, we're going to do some honourable mentions. Now, for me, I'm going to start with obviously Gallipoli is a great Australian war movie. Now, doesn't quite crack the top 10 list, but really great scene, particularly at the end when they run out and it's epic. You got to go see it. So it's a great Australian war movie. Troy is another one that I love.
Troy.
I mean, again, it's not the greatest film ever made by any means. It's got some pretty corny parts in it, but it's also, I loved it as a kid, so it's definitely one of my favourites. The Thin Red Line's another one we were just talking about. It's not on my top 10 list. Because I haven't seen it for so long, but I remember thinking it was really good and I haven't had a chance to rewatch it, so it probably would be on my top 10 if I rewatched it, but I can't quite get there. And The only one was Kingdom Heaven. Another one's
Yeah.
pretty good. Same thing. It could have been a lot better, but some memorable scenes. I love any sort of medieval stuff as well. So Kingdom Heaven's a great movie.
I had Thin Red Line also. Same reason, man. I watched it when I was far too young. And, I haven't seen it since. So that's one of those. Schindler's List I had on.
Of course,
we kind of talked about that. It's one of those. It's based in wartime, obviously.
Yeah.
It's not specifically a war movie, so it didn't make my list because I didn't know how to juggle it.
I guess that's the kind of same as Unbroken. That's kind of that. It is a war movie, but it's probably
I feel like Unbroken has more war scenes, which is why it kind of pushed it over.
So Schindler's List, if we're talking about movies set in wartime, it's definitely a top 10er
100%.
for me. But I wouldn't say it's a war.
Yeah, because same as kind of Casablanca. Casablanca's set in wartime, but I wouldn't say it's a war movie.
Yeah.
Because if it was, it'd be definitely up there. And I had a little kind of sneaky guilty pleasure. I had Pearl Harbor as well.
Oh, Pearl Harbor, of course. Yeah, that's a guilty pleasure for sure.
So,
Michael Bay.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah, that's actually true. That's probably should be on my top 10 list for my favourites, even though I know it's not the greatest movie. I know it's corny. It's got some terrible lines in there. I get it.
Yeah.
But the soundtrack is phenomenal. I cannot deny. Pearl Harbor soundtrack's incredible.
Yeah.
It has some great, like the bombing of Pearl Harbor is a great scene. Like, objectively, it's a great scene. And I mean, I was so heartbroken as a kid seeing Josh Hartnett come home in a flippin' coffin. It was just horrible to watch. So yeah, it does have some good elements to that movie for sure. All right.
Top 3, mate.
Number 3. Now, I just realised I shot myself in the footy because I had to go at you for putting this number 4, and I realised I have it as number 3 because there's so many good bloody movies. But I'm going to go Saving Private Ryan's number 3 for me. At least to make my top 3. All right, so Saving Private Ryan, if we're just talking objectively, this has got to be one of the best war movies of all time for sure. The opening scene,
possibly the best
scene,
one.
is probably the best scene of all time for war movies. Incredible, puts you in the shoes of a soldier more than any other scene I've ever seen. So intense. Great acting in it. Tom Hanks is phenomenal. Matt Damon's great in it as well. Just an excellent war movie. So it's number 3 for me.
Mate. My number 3, you had on your list, but I've got Hacksaw Ridge.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
So, as I said, Mel Gibson, Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, it's great.
I loved it. I think it's such a different take. I know it's a true story as well, which makes it even crazier.
Yeah.
And I was reading this thing Mel Gibson wrote that he left a lot of the stuff that the dude did actually out of the film.
Yeah.
Because he thought it'd be too unrealistic.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so if you watch the film, you're like, holy moly, what this dude's doing, that surely can't happen.
Yeah.
The dude did more than what was shown
insane,
as well to make it even crazier.
I'll have to look into it. That's cool.
But yeah, just like this pacifist who goes, the whole movie doesn't fire a gun. I don't even know if he possibly touches one, but it wouldn't be for long, maybe in training camp.
He's like frustratingly pacifist.
Yeah,
he's so frustrating.
And then just
shoot a gun, they're flipping
saves countless amounts of people in wartime and becomes from one of those guys who's a bunch of his platoon kind of hate him to becoming a hero of the platoon and everything like that. It's such a good movie. So
it is great.
It's my number 3.
It's a killer. Yeah. All right, number 2 for me. Now this is very tight, 1, 2, and 3. But number 2 is going to be one of my favourite movies of all time. Is Inglourious Basterds.
Yeah. I mean, we might have the same top 2, buddy.
Okay. So Inglourious Basterds is just such a good Quentin Tarantino film.
Yes.
So much good dialogue in there. It obviously plays very loosely with history. Yeah. But it is set in World War II. It's still a war movie. It's still about warfare. Just in a small group, I suppose. But yeah, some great acting in there.
Christoph Waltz.
Christoph Waltz. Yeah, he is just
amazing.
He's incredible.
He steals the show. He does. Pitt's incredible in it, and he's funny and everything else. But he steals the show. Yeah, he is just
special mention for when Brad Pitt tries to say that Italian name. It's flipping hilarious.
Tarantino is probably my favorite director. Yeah, if not, he's maybe he's definitely top 3.
Yeah,
but it's just to have a bad guy that you like so much as well. You know what I mean? He's a bad character. And he's not to like about it. He's not a nice bad character, but he's just you kind of you love him by the end of it.
It's not even like a Jack Sparrow where he's like an anti-hero bad guy.
There's nothing horrible about him. You just love him because he plays it so well.
All right, mate. So that's our number 2. Obviously, number 1's going to be Braveheart. Yeah,
it's just mate. The Scott and me wouldn't let me.
Scott and everybody, especially this guy.
Mel Gibson does one thing well, and he does a few things, but directing wise, he just gets gore and graphic stuff. If you watch Apocalypto, it's kind of the same.
Apocalypto is outstanding.
It's just he does that type of directing so well.
That's right.
And it's just it might be a long movie, but who cares? Toughen up and watch it. It's incredible.
And I know it gets a lot of hate for being historically inaccurate, which is fair enough. But as a movie, it's outstanding.
Yeah, try watching the freedom speech and everything else in that kind of time.
Yeah.
And not get fired up.
Yeah.
It's bloody incredible, man.
It's just a great film, great story about the Scots rebelling back against the English. Yeah. And it's an outstanding film. So, Braveheart,
That's
definitely number one there for me for war movies. Now, obviously, we want to, honour the ANZAC soldiers, particularly for us Australian and New Zealanders, and say thank you for obviously everything they've done.
Definitely.
And we want to make sure, we honour them with this video as much as we can. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the top 10 war movies that you've seen, just your subjective list. Love to also know who you think has the better list, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks, guys.